Bleach's new episode is absolutely incredible. From the opening scene with incredible animation to the terrorizing orchestral music to even small things like story. This episode was absolutely insane and one of the best directed episodes of the series I've seen, which of course is actually sort of lately the trend with Thousand Year Blood War. And while I do understand that some people just don't like story, plot, or character development and just want the action, which this episode has none of, I think this episode shows that Bleach has much more to offer to the table than just action scenes and clips of fights for YouTube videos. For example, the opening sequence shows at first something I was like, is this a rave or a concert? Like, what is this? But this entire sequence was so well animated and immediately captivated me, and I think a big aspect of that is the music. The music in Bleach this season is absolutely phenomenal, and that only continues throughout a majority of this episode. This is when we see Ichigo, who is continuing to train to defeat the Stern Ritters and Yawak. By the way, if I mispronounce stuff, it's not on purpose. As a child, my mother and father dropped me on the head on 2 separate occasions, so if you comment about it, then just know that is technically assault. I would know. I'm brain damaged. But one of my favorite parts is Yawak announcing that his successor will be Uryu Ishida, which is already shocking enough saying that out loud and just thinking about it, but I liked how after the announcement it focused on the reaction from all of the other Stern Ritter, and most of them didn't seem to be happy. Especially Bombietta, who invites a young recruit back to her room because she's so pissed off. And you think it's gonna go one way, but it goes another way, and I thought it was bold of her to do that, but she actually just brings him back to her room to slice him in half with her cleavage all hanging out, which, you know, at least he got to see something nice before he died, I guess. And now I see why you guys like Bombietta so much. You're all subs! The lot of ya! What I found funny, though, was a bunch of the ladies came to Bombietta's room and basically yelled at her for killing all the hot guys, which is just... that's actually pretty funny. But I actually love the detail of the coloring in these 2 separate scenes because the one with Yawak are always blue and have this cool tone to them. It shows that they're kind of ruthless and cold. But then the scenes with Bombi, especially here, are red, which signifies her rage in this moment. It's just small touches like that which add so much thematic layers to the series overall, even though it's not really telling you how to feel or anything like that. It's just a color. We also see some amazing character development here with Baz B, who is pretty angry that Hashwolf didn't say anything to Yawak when announcing his plans to announce Uryu as his successor. And you have to think that they're not happy because Uryu is this outsider, and while a Quincy, it still means to them he cannot be trusted. Which I think is rather smart of them to vocalize their opinions like this. I could see in the future Uryu betraying them because he lured them into a false sense of security. Obviously, nothing much to support that theory at the moment, but it shows that the Stern Ritter are unified as a group against Uryu, which I think could lead to fractures in the future if there are more to vocalize their support for Uryu in the main group. As for Hashwolf, I think he's eventually going to stand up to Yawak, which will lead to a huge moment where we all basically are able to actually cheer for this guy and want to see him fight, especially against someone like Yawak, but will likely end in his defeat. Or maybe his success and Uryu will jump in. There is just, I don't know, there's something so cool about Hashwolf and Yawak facing off, and I desperately want to see it. Which, speaking of Uryu, Yawak gives him a cup of his blood. Disgusting, I know, which will also soon activate his powers and also bestow upon Uryu the same letter as he, A. This was a huge moment which pretty much certifies Uryu as a real Stern Ritter, and now a really powerful one, seeing as he'll be gaining a tremendous amount of energy from all of this. This will no doubt make future Bleach fights, especially with Uryu against people like Ichigo, really freaking crazy and hype. It's much in the same vein of Naruto versus Sasuke all over again, but not exactly that they are the same, I want to say that, but that it's the same dynamic of like friend versus friend, light versus dark, orange versus blue, you subscribing to the SeaTactics, liking the video, sharing it on your Discord, or on your Twitter or Threads account, helping the channel grow to 100,000 subs, making my dreams come true. You know, things. Though they're not the only people growing stronger, this episode focused a lot on showing just everyone in general training to take on the Stern Ritter and obtain more power, like Chad and Orihime. Which, by the way, Orihime with a ponytail is chef's kiss. I can't wait to see more fights with Chad. He's such a cool character, and so far is a little underrated this season, so I hope we see something from Chad at the very least. As for Ichigo, he continues to try and gain power to fight Yawak, and while he's not there yet, he takes on a series of tests which do help him improve in some way. And I love the scene where he goes to the shrine, and it's this clash of black, green, and traditional Japanese architecture, which just meshes so well. It's such a dramatic sequence, and one that's super artistic and beautiful, and we need to give Perot staff a raise here, and the people that support them, because wow, they are excelling so well here with this season. This is probably one of the best looking anime they've done since something like a Yu Yu Hakusho. It's just insane. And this is when we see Rukia, who I for sure call dibs on, by the way. She gets a call and is basically told that her brother has fully healed and recovered, and this is massive, and it cannot be understated, because it's a huge foundation for his character, because after his shocking defeat in the last season, he now realizes his power paled in comparison to the Stern Ritter, and he let the power get to his head. But now he realizes how weak he is, and so now he wants to gain even more power and get so strong that he starts to get a big head and ego about it, which I think is the right approach here. I mean, these guys came in and made him look like chopped liver. But overall, I'm really eager in general, just like you guys, to see these two more in the show. I really hope Rukia gets to fight in this season again. I really do miss this character in action. Her design, especially in this season, is just so great. It's so adorable. I love it. However, there is some conflict with Ichigo's friends. The Squad 8 captain basically tells him that the power Ichigo is developing is one in which he may stop him from coming back to the human world. And this right here, this is massive and cannot be understated. This shows that Ichigo is in a situation wherein if he gets too powerful, he will lose all of his humanity. So you have to ask in situations like this, especially I guess Ichigo is probably asking himself, is that sacrifice worth it? And I love to hear your thoughts on this down in the comments below, because I can see this leading to an ending where Ichigo sacrifices himself. And is that something we really want from Ichigo? Would people react well to having the main character basically die or be locked away forever in some other world because of this newfound strength? Is that something that's worth it? That's what I want to know. Which is when we see something probably equally insane happen if you think about it, that Soretti disappears as the Stern Ritter invade. This was absolutely insane to see. Not just because of the ramifications, but the art and animation on display, the music and the plot of the story in this moment was just simply incredible and like nothing I've ever seen from Bleach before. The grim reality that the Stern Ritter and Quincy have come back to take over and get revenge is just such a badass moment, and shows that they're the ones in charge and they're not messing around. Especially with Yamamoto and Unohana being gone. This means everyone else now has to get stronger, or else they face possible extinction and the rise of Yawak's Stern Ritter. And that's a heavy burden to bear. This episode, though, it was simply immaculate. I was super impressed with the last season by a huge margin, but this episode shows that this series is about to hit a whole new level. One that I think we may not be prepared for. Obviously, I could be wrong. We do know that the manga series left fans with a bad taste in their mouth, but I do feel that there is the possibility to correct the wrongs of those final moments or chapters and give Bleach the send-off it always deserved. One that's with a bang. So, let me know your thoughts in the episode below, and be sure to check out my other Bleach content, and as well support the channel by becoming a patron and getting access to my One Piece series, which will soon feature a massive retrospective review on the Arabasta arc. Thanks for watching, bye-bye.